And it is my pleasure to say to the community of Saddlebrook that along with my beautification program, I have also set a goal regarding the tributaries, streams, and the riverbanks of the Saddle River. As everyone knows, it's a crucial area of town that was in dire need of cleanup based on the fact that Hurricane Floyd really left a lot of destruction in its path. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Bob. Bob and I had gone out about a month ago and visited the riverbanks, the tributaries, and the streams. And I'd like Bob to tell us something more about the program. Bob?
Well, we have 47 municipalities that we represent. We're out of Newark, and part of the program is aimed at the Passaic River, but the Saddle River is a tributary of the Passaic, and all the feeder streams are very much in need of clearing the kind of debris that you might see right behind me here. This is the sort of stuff that's going to create a dam, create flooding problems. You have a lot of debris that's an eyesore. And this is the sort of thing that we at Passaic Valley have a small river restoration department. And in addition to operating skimmer boats out on the Passaic River, we come to spots like this in these different municipalities at the invitation of local officials. Mayor Chamberlain took me all over town to show me a lot of these spots that need to be cleaned up. And we very simply go in and remove these kinds of things. Debris will chip up a lot of this brush and eliminate flooding problems.
Bob, earlier I had asked you, which was a curiosity question. I think the public should have the benefit of knowing. How is it that a sewer commission is the entity that we're able to get out here to do the cleaning of our tributaries?
Really, Passaic Valley was founded a century ago to protect the Passaic River from pollution. We have a trunk sewer so that all of the effluent from the town sewer systems don't get into the river to foul the river. So we have policing power over the Passaic River. So as an extension of that, really, these kinds of things, the sort of debris that you see here is the kind of thing that we're in business to really remove. So now we're taking a more proactive role in coming out to these towns. Towns are not really equipped to do this kind of work. So we find it in counties, we find it in almost every town that we go into. They're not really set up to take this kind of debris out. We are, and that's what we do.
Thank you. As you could have seen on the film earlier, you cannot imagine the debris that was in all the streams here in town. You can see, as they had shown on the film, the bottles, the carriages, and then earlier you had seen how it looked after the cleanup started in just one day. Later on, we'll be heading down to the Saddlebrook Mall area. There's a stream there that is unbelievably dammed with debris. I mean, debris so much as having carpets at the bottom of the streams. After that, we'll be going down to the Saddle River, where we will show you all the snagged areas, the trees. And thank goodness, Passaic Valley has allocated over $1 million in equipment and 12 men that run this operation. And because of that availability, we'll be able to desnag the Saddle River, at least help with the flow should we be fortunate enough to get a rainstorm considering the drought. And we will keep this operation in maintenance on an annual basis. Am I correct, Bob?
That's absolutely correct. One of the other things that I'm often questioned about by municipal officials is whether or not there's any cost to be taken in by a town like Saddlebrook. And much to the delight of the local officials, we do this at no cost. This is a program that we finance, and we find that it really builds bridges to the towns that we represent. We build these towns actually finance us, so it's really a good mutual arrangement that we have.
Bob, how much longer will you be in Saddlebrook? What is the time frame that it will take to reach the goal of cleaning all the river banks, tributaries, and streams throughout?
If I had to guess, I've already reviewed all the work that we have to do, and it looks like it's going to be no less than 3 weeks.
Well, thank you very much, and we will be continuing on as the cleanup goes along so that Saddlebrook can see exactly the efforts that are being made and the accomplishments that will be done after your men complete the work. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
I'm here right now, which was formerly Walmart, or will be the new Walmart, formerly Bradley's, to show everyone the debris that has accumulated along the stream banks at this location. As you know from our last film clip of the other day over at Washington Street, we had shown you the before and after. Well, this is the current state, and as you can see, it's overladen with brush, overladen with garbage. And as we're continuing downstream, we'll be approaching some more of the damming and the debris that is located here, which adds to the level of the water backing up when we've had a bad rainstorm. As we're going along the banks, again, more debris, more garbage. We'll go further on down, and I'm heading towards McDonald's right now, which is a distance away from here. So you can see the span that we have that has been dammed up for a very long time. Now that this cleanup is progressing, we will be maintaining it throughout the course of time. Here, I know this has always been a problem from years of experience about the shopping carts and the debris. Naturally, we're cleaning here, but we have to put some share of this burden with these shopping carts to Walmart into the future, which we will be speaking with them about. We'll be continuing along the river and showing you the buildup, the overgrown trees, and the damming. We're downstream now from the Saddle River, and as everyone can see behind us, we have a few concerns here in addition to the garbage. We also have a concern regarding the environment. And if you could explain to everyone about the Phragmites that are here in the stream.
Yeah, you have Phragmites, first of all, are protected by the Department of Environmental Protection. So it grows, it's a grass plant, and it grows anywhere where there's wetlands, and they really can't be disturbed. And what they also have a tendency to do, in addition to filtering water and being good for water actually, they also trap an awful lot of debris. So we find that there's lots of debris trapped in all these marshes here, and we really have to pick it out by hand. We have the easier way would be to cut it down, but then we'd not only be doing some harm to the environment, but we'd be in a little bit of trouble with the DEP. So it's all going to have to be done by hand, but it's an awful lot is accumulated here, and that's what we're going to have to do.
Now, how great of an improvement do you see since you will be getting to the Saddle River embankment edges? We're working in the middle of town, and we're coming down here. The overall benefit?
The overall benefit is really aesthetic as much as anything else. It's not water treatment per se, but it's really an improvement to the eye. I mean, so much of the water bodies in our area, we're a very crowded urban area, really get treated as dumping grounds, and it really turns people off. So what we try to do is clear some of the dead trees, take out a lot of the debris, and it's much more pleasing to the eye. And people have a tendency to dump less on something if it looks a little bit cleaner.
Now, Bob, earlier we had been discussing about the Passaic Valley Sewer Commission and their position with clearing the streams and the embankments. And I believe I had asked you a question regarding, well, we're talking sewers here because that's who you work for,
Yep.
and now we're talking stream clearance. What is the connection there that you could explain to everyone so that they could understand?
Sure. Part of our mandate, really, we came into being actually to protect the Passaic River from, because there was a time when sewers went directly into the river. So really, our founding charter was based on keeping pollution out of the Passaic River. So we monitor industries and what gets put into the river, and this is really just an extension of that. It's part of our mandate to protect the local waters. There's really nobody else that does this kind of work, so it really falls onto us. So this is a more proactive role for us to come in and just take out a lot of this debris that's accumulated. We find things that have been here for years. So we take it out, and hopefully it'll stay clean.
And the overall improvement, then, I guess the bottom line where Saddlebrook is looking to go is relief during a heavy rainstorm or a potential tropical storm. And once these areas are cleared, the flow is that much more improved. And that's where your bottom line concern is that as it goes downstream, it doesn't empty into the river embankments. That would affect the sewers. All right, we will be continuing on downstream. We'll be approaching on the side of McDonald's so that we can show you what the stream looks down there and how much handwork will have to be done by the employees of the Passaic River Valley Sewer Commission. Bob, again, we're down closer on this stream area here, and everyone can see the damming up behind us. And further over are the areas that are even more densely populated by what we consider our environmental issues that have to be done by hand. How long will it take your men to do this whole area that we have been walking?
Well, this project will be no less than 2 weeks. I'll have probably a 6-man crew, and the reason it's going to take so long, it's not a lot of water here, and it's really not even a lot of area. It's just that it all has to be done by hand. And there's so much here. I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but there's quite a bit just about everywhere. And a lot of it is small stuff that we're really going to try and pick out, and it's just going to be a very time-consuming project. So my best guess is 2 weeks.
Thank you. I think what we should do, wouldn't you suggest after this cleanup is complete that the township have a meeting with all the businesses here so that we can at least speak to them and say, hey, we've started it, now help us continue.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the work that we do is a repetitive kind of thing. You know, you could clear an area, and if the problem isn't solved, if people aren't aware of the fact that they're dumping here, or if there's runoff that runs things into the stream, maybe fences can help at some point. But if the innate problem isn't corrected, then you wind up with the same amount of debris in a matter of a short period of time.
Thank you. We'll be heading upstream now to Kessler Institute.
Great.
Thanks. On Market Street by Kessler Institute, and this is the stream that's running from the Saddle River. And again, as everyone can see, we have more damming, more debris, and more overgrowth. Now, when your men come here, I saw there's slabs of concrete here. How will they handle this job?
You know, we have equipment to lift heavier things, and we have plenty of access here. This is really not going to be that difficult. A lot of times we work on real difficult, steep kind of river banks where the access fence might be in the way. There's other limitations. Here it's very simple and accessible. So we'll come, and the things that we can pick up by hand, we will, and the other stuff, we have equipment to pick it up. So, you know, anything here. In fact, I see a few of these concrete divider kind of things that are down into the stream. Those kind of things we can winch out and put right into a dumpster. So it'll all be gone.
So, in a way, this is like one of the easier areas to clean up, even though we have all this overgrowth.
Yeah, no problem. Access is one of our biggest problems. There's not nearly as much here as there was in the spot over on Route 46. So this will be relatively easy, a day or two, and I think we'll have it pretty well cleaned up.
Okay, thank you. We're going to be heading along now to the banks of the Saddle River. Bob, we're here along the banks of the Saddle River, and this stream here is coming in from Congress and Washington Street where we were the other day. And this is a primary example of the damming conditions that are affecting a lot of our drainage in town. Could you explain, Bob, what the damage control issue would be here because of the conditions?
Yeah, what we have here is a classic dam. It's a natural dam. It's mostly made up of leaves, sticks, but there's a lot of debris in there as well. And it collects against this conduit. As the water wants to run into the main branch of the Saddle River, this will, especially in a storm, this will be a spot that will start to block up the water. So what happens? All these homes right here would be prime candidates to be flooded out. So if this stuff, very simply, it's all collected in one spot, easy to get to for us, no big deal to remove it, but unless it gets removed, it gets worse, and it can create a real serious flooding problem in a big rain event. So this is the kind of thing we'd go into, take it out, and the water will flow freely. And regardless of the kind of rain that you got three 36-inch conduits here. They should run freely, and the water should really flow through it and will not back up to create a flooding problem. So this is something that we can come in now and prevent before it creates a problem.
Thank you, Bob. We'll be moving on now to the banks of the Saddle River, and we'll be showing everyone how the overgrowth is affecting the runoff and all the water that comes down after the heavy rainfall. With this issue here, we're going to have to be on alert constantly with the county, coordinately with the municipality,
Sure.
because you do an annual for us, but I think we are going to have to stay on top of this much more frequently than your annual cleanup.
Sure.
Thank you. We're here once again at the Saddle River, and you can see the conditions. You can see the broken down trees that are damming up here. This isn't the only problem here, and what the Passaic Valley Sewer Commission will be doing is not the resolve, but it is a help. We have to start someplace. As mayor, I've started the River Coalition group. We've been meeting with all the other representatives of towns from Oradell, Paramus, right down to Wallington, and our federal and state representatives to see if we can't do the entire project for the $1 billion number. We must do something. So this is a beginning, a small beginning. We'll be going further. Now, Bob, your men are throughout Saddlebrook for now, and we're here, as I said, along the riverbanks. This is only a small portion, but as we have been traveling here so that you can see where the work will be done, maybe you can explain exactly about the desnagging and everything that you will be doing.
Well, the water levels have been so low that in some ways, I hate to see a drought, but it does make our work a little bit easier. Because what you see right here normally should be underwater. And it gives us an opportunity to get in and to remove the tree stumps and some of the debris that you see here and get it out before it really, a big rain event again will wash this right into the channel, and it'll start to create flooding problems. So while it's here, it's exposed, it's accessible for us. We'll come in, pull it out, and really for the most part, this stuff is all wood. We could chip it up, the debris we'll get rid of.
And again, this is at no cost to the taxpayers of Saddlebrook. We're hoping it will help everyone. And you placed a lot of importance because certainly there's a lot of trees along the Saddle River, not only in Saddlebrook, but right downstream and upstream. And that's what we had seen here today in prior visits. The growth of the trees just overhanging and the debris accumulation. So once again, Passaic Valley Sewer and their men will be doing a lot of work out here along the banks of Saddle River. And we're located right now near the firehouse by Cambridge Avenue, another tributary running into the residential area of Saddlebrook. Again, more cleanup is needed here. And Bob, the desnagging and cleanup here, how long do you think this will take?
Well, throughout the park, it's going to take us some time. In this particular area, this is something that we can do in really half a day. It's a lot of brush, and there's some debris that I see around as well. But it's relatively minor. It's the kind of thing that needs to be done because it really does start to build up. But this is, I've seen much worse, so this is not too bad.
Fortunately for us, a small smidgen of not too bad. Well, Bob, it's been a pleasure.
Great.
I'd like to thank you.
Thank you.
And thank your men and, of course, the Passaic Valley Sewer Commission.
I certainly will.
And credit here goes, because I always believe in teamwork effort, credit goes here to Mayor Frank Calangillo from Garfield and Joey Sedicase, our councilman. And they, along with myself, the three of us were able to make contact with you.
Appreciate it.
And we're going to look forward. It's my understanding we will be on your calendar from
Absolutely.
here into the future.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, and please extend our gratefulness to all your men because they were certainly hardworking men when I was out there with them.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.